right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 14 of the War Room Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything college football and pro football. I'm your host, Andy, and alongside me, we got Rob. What's going on, Rob?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I mean, I can't complain. I was bored this weekend, but what about you?
Far from bored, but it was a good weekend. Good weekend, some good football on, some sad stories, some good stories, but, you know, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I watched football, of course, but I was still bored because my team wasn't playing. If the Raiders go up against the Chiefs in the playoffs, I'd probably take the Raiders. I'm not going to lie. I feel like the Raiders, even though they lost the game, I feel like the Raiders had the Chiefs number.
Yeah, the Raiders are a lot better than people realize. They had an incredibly difficult schedule to start the season. Carr is just playing out of his mind right now. The offensive line is ridiculous. The defense is garbage, absolute garbage. But yeah, no, I honestly, this is the first time in a long time where we lost, and I'm not happy, but it didn't bother me at all. Like they put up a hell of a fight. You know, some would say they outplayed Kansas City twice this year.
Yep.
So man, I'll take it. I'll take it. But props to Mahomes, man. My God, he is so good. He is absurdly good.
He's fantastic, but I mean, not to pull anything away from him because I think he is probably the best quarterback there is. But his supporting cast around him, man, they're lights out. They are just ridiculous.
They are.
That's the epitome of, I mean, granted, now he's on the biggest contract, but talk about getting your quarterback weapons when he was on a rookie deal. My God.
Yeah.
Like, it is just ridiculous. And then the thing is, now that he's a great offensive player, people want to sign there to play. So they're signing players left and right, which is hopefully that's what you want to build as an organization. So it's fantastic. But speaking of signings, those Raiders, huh? Doing a couple signings for yourselves? Look at you guys.
Stop it. Tackle fail his physical.
Did he really?
No, he will. He hasn't yet, but he will. Well, as of this recording, he has not yet.
But you know what will happen then? What team did I say he was going to end on as soon as he got announced that he got released? What team did I say he was going to get signed by? The team that signs every defensive end. The Cleveland Browns.
Well, that's right. We passed them. So they are next. You're right.
He will end up on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. It's funny. But, yeah, he hasn't. Beasley, I don't really know what to expect from. I'm still one of those guys that I don't know that I believe he really wants to play. Right. I don't think his heart's in it from what I see. But, again, I don't know the guy. But, yeah, man. It was that's interesting. So we could use any help we can get on the pass rush because we got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Beasley was the guy that you talked about to me and said the same thing. Like you don't really want him on the team, but hey, you got him on the practice squad, so he's making practice squad money. Who cares? Take a flyer.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as it doesn't mess with the camaraderie in the locker room, whatever.
Nah, I mean, right now everybody in that locker room is just making fun of Carr as is, just because of all the memes that came out this past week. But
yeah, that's fair.
It is what it is. But, I mean, jumping into this week, we'll do a quick recap, everybody, just to talk about some of the NFL games. And I definitely want to dive into some college football a little bit on my end, just to talk over one of the teams that I wanted to watch that I actually was able to watch this week. But, again, I mean, Raiders played a phenomenal game. I know one person that you and I were texting about back and forth on Sunday. You want to talk about those Carolina Panthers?
God, P.J. Walker, that was awesome. That was awesome.
I mean, I was just happy for the kid.
Oh, greatness. Absolute greatness.
It wasn't a stellar performance. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he's not breaking any records. He was good. I mean, 24 of 34, 258 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So, nothing crazy. And then everyone's like, well, did he run a lot? No, 5 for -2. So, the thing is, he found the number 1 receiver and the number 2 receiver and the number 3 receiver. And that's it. You won a football game. So I'm just happy for him because he got cut by 12 different NFL teams, went to the XFL, which you and I are huge fans of the XFL. and any minor league, as we will call them, football organizations and teams, just because that's what they are. And he comes into the league and he looked good. His arm looked good. Like, he had a strong arm. He showed all the qualities and things that we were looking for in a quarterback of that style. Like, he's mobile. He could throw. He made the right decisions. So it was cool. It was cool.
And those stats, too, they don't show how much he was able to maneuver around the pocket either. You know?
For sure.
Yeah, he didn't have a ton of rushing yards or any, but he was all over the pocket. He was really maneuvering pretty good. Had some very good footwork. I thought he did well. I really did. But it was so much fun watching him. I was so excited about that.
Yeah, and he threw guys open. That's the biggest thing that you want to see. You don't want to see a quarterback just make the mediocre throws. He actually was throwing guys open like a professional quarterback would. So that was cool. The Lions are complete dog doo-doo. I don't even know how to put it nicely. Like, they're so bad. The only thing that was worse than watching that game, because I was watching two games at the same time, that game was on my TV to the left. The TV that was right in front of me is I got to watch the Philadelphia Eagles against the Browns. You know what I'd rather do than that? Stab myself in the eye with a hot poker.
I think we're there with the Eagles, man. I think it's time. I really do. And I'm about to contradict myself, too, when you get to the Dolphins game and the Bengals game, and I'm going to talk about not putting a rookie quarterback in behind a bad offensive line. But at the same time, I think it's time for the Eagles, so I'm just going to completely contradict myself.
You're fine. You're allowed to. I think the problem is Wentz thinks he doesn't have enough time, and their offensive line is bad. However, somebody needs to tell Carson Wentz, you're not going to have 4 minutes and 38 seconds to throw the ball. This is the NFL. You have to be able to throw guys open. Everyone's going to say he doesn't have good wide receivers. That's a lie. He's got decent wide receivers. He has enough to get by. He has a tight end. He has running backs that can do the job. He just looks scared. He looks completely lost. He looks like Carr, the older Carr.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks like David Carr when he got destroyed.
Derek,
excuse me.
Jesus, come on. Why is that still a thing? Why is that still a thing?
Part of me did that on purpose. But
no, you didn't.
Still, he looks that shook that he should have been the one, not Sam Darnold, saying he's seeing ghosts. It was just bad. And watching the Browns, for the amount of talent that the Browns have, and the Browns have a sneaky good record, I don't see it. I don't see the Browns making that much noise. They definitely can sneak up on somebody just because they do have so much raw talent on that team. But it's just not there. Those two games, I could have watched so many other games, but I was like, I really want to see what's going on. It was bad. I mean, Carolina was fun. Lions are trash, but that's
the Lions. They got to be. I can't believe Patricia still has a job. I would have gotten rid of him after last year. There's no buy-in on that team right now. None at all. And God, I feel so bad for Matt Stafford. So bad. I mean, what an awesome human being was given such a rough hand in life.
Yep.
And he just gets wasted every year.
Yep.
Every year. I almost want them to trade him to someone, just someone that can compete.
For sure. People used to complain about Matt Ryan not getting enough. Playoff this, playoff that. Matt Ryan has, leaps and bounds over the amount of what Matt Stafford gets. Stafford gets nothing and no help, and it's just a mess there.
And I'm taking prime Matt Stafford over prime Matt Ryan any day of the week.
100%.
Any day. No problem.
But go ahead. I know you mentioned it. Let's touch on it. So let's first start with the Bengals. It was number 1 overall pick against number 2 overall pick. There was a time in the game where Chase Young basically said, "Child, please," to Joe Burrow, which was cool to see. Joe Burrow was playing lights out, but then Joe Burrow tore his ACL and MCL, so he's done. He's done.
There's reports now that there's structural damage as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
And first off, seeing Chase Young come up to Joe Burrow when he was on the stretcher, or not the stretcher, the cart, that was some moving stuff. That was cool to see. But man, and this is why. Do you almost think that because the fact it was the same day and close to the same time, when Tua got that hit on his leg, and it was a scary looking hit, that was when they benched him after that. do you think it was almost like, hey, okay, we don't want this to happen to us, what happened to Cincinnati? Do you think there's anything there? Because I personally, I wouldn't have, if in my opinion, if you're going to spend the number 1 overall pick or even your first round pick in general on a quarterback, and you expect them to play that first year, that rookie year, okay, you have to invest in your offensive line. You have to. And I just don't feel like the Bengals did that.
No.
And I feel like it sucks for Joe Burrow to have to go through this. And it's not his fault. You know what I mean? Right. And then people wonder why. And then people wonder why that Trevor Lawrence wouldn't want to play for the Jets. You know? Like, I get it. The Jets, Becton is he's outstanding.
Let's pause on the Becton. Did you see him get absolutely destroyed?
I did.
That was great. I mean, he's a phenomenal left tackle. He just trying to get big boy moving side to side, and the linebacker who's quicker gets under him. You're going to get Alfred blocks, but still, it's pretty funny. But go ahead.
Just you got to invest in your O-line, man. You have to. And I feel so bad for Burrow, and I just wonder if that didn't happen if Tua would have been benched after that play, because it was after that play. When Tua got that shot to the leg, that was when they benched him.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm probably wrong, but the thought crossed my mind if there's some type of connection there, like, God, like we're not there yet with the offensive line. I don't know.
The thing with the Bengals, though, the part like the Bengals did invest money in their offensive line, and they did invest high draft picks. They drafted Jonathan Williams, who was a high draft pick. They drafted Billy Price, who was a high draft pick, so center and left tackle. The problem is the positions that you need to shore up is everywhere. It's not just 2 spots. You have Quentin Spain, who was released by the Buffalo Bills, who was on their practice squad and now is on their active roster starting guard. So he's okay. But then again, he just got signed to the team 3 weeks ago. So you're putting your number 1 quarterback on a team that just doesn't have a solid offensive line. It worked out for Dallas the year where Dak ended up stepping in. Why? Because Dallas had the best offensive line. And then, to your point, Miami could have seen what happened, and they're like, man, screw this. Like, bye. Like, we're still in playoff contention. Like, pull him out. Fitzmagic is known for coming into a game where everything looks down and out and throwing for 700 yards and getting a contract. Like, that's the thing. But my concern now with Tua is he says he's fine. He says, like, no big deal. Like, it's whatever. As a competitor, if you mean to tell me that I'm the starting quarterback and then you bench me and I come out of a game and say it's no big deal, I'm bold-faced lying to you.
Yep.
There's no way, shape, or form it's okay that you bench me in a game that I'm playing. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I'm, like, the greatest player of all time or just a starter. If you bench me, it's going to mess with my head. And that could have just happened with Tua. And they don't have an easy road ahead of them.
No.
So you got to let him get his bumps against the Broncos and go from there. So it's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. Dolphins are an interesting situation, though. Definitely an interesting situation.
Their defense is so good.
Yeah, they're very good. Very good.
But so those were those 2 particular games. I mean, Washington, Alex Smith looked fantastic. Hill for the Saints, I know we talked about it in the past podcast that you said it needed to be Winston. I said it needed to be Hill from the standpoint if they wanted to see what they got. Hill looked fine. I don't think he's a quarterback of the future. Everyone's like, oh, he looked great. Everyone was so worried about him running. Fast forward to me then now talking about the Ravens. Look what happens when you just have a running quarterback who can't really throw.
So Marquise Brown.
Trade him.
Huh?
Trade him. He needs to go. He's going to be a cancer. He's the great wide receiver, but he's pissed he's not getting the ball.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And obviously we know you can't trade him now.
Of course.
But, man, I hope they do.
100%.
I really hope they do.
He's
the one, I'll be honest, he's the one I wanted Vegas to go after at the trade deadline. He's the one.
He's a Deshaun Jackson type, like, game changer back when he was young. That's how I feel. Granted, different size, different specs, but He's a guy that you can get the ball to in multiple different scenarios, and he could change a game. And he's just not getting the ball. Des Bryant had more targets than he did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad.
Yep.
And he's going to turn into a cancer because he's related to Antonio Brown. So they learned from the same playbook.
Ugh. Yeah. But, man, I feel bad for him. Definitely do. And Lamar, and again, I'm not taking anything away from the guy. He's a phenomenal athlete. He had a phenomenal year last year. And again, I'm still saying Greg Roman is not he's not exactly innocent here. But their offense in general just does not look good this year at all. And it's a shame because that defense, man.
Yep.
They can go up against anybody.
And this week, too, they have two of their starting running backs on the COVID list. So they're going in with one running back, really, Lamar, their tight ends and wide receivers, and they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
the Steelers might go undefeated.
I was just going to say that.
They might.
I think the Steelers could possibly go undefeated, and I know this is painful for me to say. I feel like the Jets may go defeated.
I agree with that. And I already have my head coach pick for the Jets. I have a dream situation that I heard about on Twitter that I read about. I think this would be an awesome one. Joe Brady as head coach, Wade Phillips, DC.
Wow.
For the Jets.
Okay.
Joe Brady gets his boy.
It's interesting.
I like it.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I like it.
Definitely don't hate it, but
I would love to see Joe Brady with Trev, as he'll be going by now for me.
If he goes, yeah. All right, so let's just touch on a little bit of this week coming up. So this week, I mean, I could talk about the Bills real quick. We go up against the Chargers coming off a bye. We're 3-0 under McDermott's reign coming off a bye. So I'm excited to see what happens. We really need to change our approach to the game. We can't have Josh Allen throw the ball 787 times, even though he's looking good. We don't score in the third quarter. We need to control the clock, maintain the game, and we have two good running backs, Devin Singletary, who was a great running back last year, just looks like he fell off the face of the earth. Zach Moss, who was a college hero, hasn't really done anything. So we need to get him involved. We have everybody off the COVID list, even though I want Josh Norman to catch COVID again and go back on the list.
Jesus.
He doesn't need to see the field. I thought he was going to be one of those hype guys that are going to get the team riled up. The only thing he's doing is getting stiff arm into another galaxy. So I'm cool with him not playing. So that's how we look for this week. Who do the Raiders got?
Falcons. Still waiting to hear if Julio's going to play. Should be a pretty good match. Again, it's going to be high scoring. But Raheem Morris really seems to have them playing a lot better. He has some personal ties to this game. He's going to want to beat Gruden. So they're really close friends, and obviously he got to start with Gruden in Tampa. So it should be a good game. It's definitely not a pushover. But it should be good. I think the Raiders should be able to walk away with it, though.
Underrated coach, though. I definitely think he deserves – if he doesn't get a shot in Atlanta, I definitely think he deserves another shot.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
He definitely deserves another shot. So looking at some other games on the slate that people are going to want to look at, I mean, Colts-Titans. Titans just came off against the big win where Derrick Henry just does Derrick Henry things. Colts, it's like we texted to each other. Nobody sees their text messages. I guess the Colts are good. I mean, we say that like a question mark because you're always waiting for Phillip Rivers to do something crazy.
By the way, that was a horribly called game from a coaching perspective for the Colts. Why were they passing the ball that often at the end of the game? Just run the clock down. Manage the clock. Like, why were they doing that? I don't get it.
No idea. It's not like they have a bad running back or bad running backs. Like they have the workhorses that can do it. I mean, Taylor has fumble problems from college, but hasn't really perked up on them in the pros yet. I think he has one, maybe two. But yeah, just run the ball. So that's an interesting one. I mean, The Dolphins game against the Jets, I don't know why I feel like I want to say that's interesting. The only reason why I want to say that's interesting is because it has implications within the division for first place. So if the Bills end up winning and the Dolphins end up losing, that puts the Bills 2 games ahead. This would then hurt the Jets, which the Dolphins don't really care about hurting the Jets, but at the same time, if the Jets win, then it does hurt the Jets because they may not get Trevor Lawrence. So it's interesting, and this could be one of the only games that they could win. The Jets could win moving forward. So, anything of interest to you? I mean, Chiefs, Bucks, Tom Brady implication?
Potentially. He looked pretty bad last night.
Oh yeah, he looked old.
Yeah, he did. He did. I actually saw a funny tweet because it seems like every time he plays like a primetime game, like at night, he just looks terrible. So people are thinking that he's solar powered.
Ooh, I like that.
That was good. That was good. But so here's my real concern. All right. Why would they not put the Colts on Thursday for Thanksgiving? The reason being now, if Phillip Rivers has Thanksgiving with his family, they're over the capacity limit.
Depends on what state he's in.
Indiana.
I think he has his family still in Florida.
Still. No, that's a legit concern. That's
Florida.
11 people.
Florida has no rules.
Yo, Florida police on that. 11 people, Phillip Rivers household.
You know what the Florida police say? Busy. COVID who? I barely know her.
Nobody's talking about it. That's a legit concern. In all seriousness, though, with everything that's gone on in 2020, I don't think that we deserve to see the Seahawks and Eagles on Monday night.
No.
I really don't think we deserve it. And I'm actually kind of insulted, to be honest. I think we can flex that game out.
I'm upset they haven't flexed as many games like this year.
Yeah, I agree.
It's weird, man.
No, it's honestly kind of a weak schedule this weekend. Nothing really catches my eye too much.
Nah, nothing too crazy. I mean, there's some implications. I mean, the Giants are playing the Bengals, so the Giants could end up taking the division lead with, I don't know, maybe a half a win because that entire division is trash. Because I'm trying to look, there's nothing really. Yeah, I mean, Cowboys and the Redskins play each other, which is garbage, hot, steamy garbage. So kind of a mess.
Let's just talk about Coastal Carolina. Go ahead.
Yeah. Coastal Carolina, for those of you that haven't watched any of college football yet, I really want you to take the time and watch Coastal Carolina away. The reason why I say away is because their home field is atrocious to watch on television. And it's not like when you listen to a game announced by Joe Buck where you can just mute him because Joe Buck is talking about tennis when it's a football game because he forgets where he is. But they're fun to watch, man. I mean, their defensive line just flies to the ball.
Did you get to see Teron Jackson?
Yes.
Oh my God. Dude, if I looked like that, I wouldn't wear clothes.
He's one of the guys that I wanted to talk about. So there's 3 guys on that defense that I wanted to talk about. Teron Jackson, Jeffrey Gunter, and C.J. Brewer. So these are 3 guys, D-tackle, a linebacker, which is like a hybrid that they play, and then Jackson. I mean, they play a 100% NASCAR speed blitz package, basically, where they just destroy the quarterback. It is amazing to see. Can it suck when they play against some big boys on the front offensive line? We'll see. I mean, we haven't come across that yet for them. But, I mean, these guys are a little bit undersized Jackson's 260, Gunter's 260, and then Brewer's 280 at a D tackle. So, I mean, they're a little bit undersized for what you would want, but they make up for that with speed and heart. I mean, watching them play is just ridiculous. And it was so much fun. I mean, Appalachian State's a good program. Coastal Carolina was ranked higher. Technically, they should have won the game. They did win the game. But it's just fun to see. I mean, I would definitely love to see them get a decent bowl game against a Power 5 school. Will it happen? I don't know. But it's something cool to watch. And I would definitely say those 3 guys are 3 guys to keep a lookout for. I mean, you don't really need to look for Gunter. I mean, he's a junior. He may not come out, but Brewer and Jackson are both seniors. So they'll get some burn in the Reese's Senior Bowl. Hopefully they'll get invites. And then, I mean, their pro days are going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Jackson's pro day.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. And then another one that I wanted to touch on, I talked about last week, but kind of want to do a recap on them, is Indiana. So Indiana took on Ohio State. Game was real close early. Ohio State pulled away. Indiana came back. Indiana's got some ballers, man. I mean, I mentioned it that Freifogel, he had 7 catches for 218 yards. He could have had more where they could have converted a 4th down earlier on, but he just dropped it. He was wide open. He looked up the field to run more. He was going up against Wade. So Wade is considered a first-round pick out of Ohio State. And he just looks like a complete package. I don't think he's going to blow the doors off of any gym. He's not going to be a super fast guy, but he's just a football player, man. And 218 yards against Ohio State, that's nothing to slouch at. So,
yeah, agreed. And by the way, you brought up Wade. I'm not sold on him. I'm not sold. I understand he had the big play. I know that, but like, I'm not sold on him.
Yeah, I don't see it with him either. I mean, he's got the measurables. He's got what you think. It depends on the scheme. I feel like he'd be good in a zone scheme. I don't feel like he's a man-to-man corner. I feel like he'll just get bullied, and I feel like he can get lost. But if he has the brains to play in his own scheme, I feel like he can definitely do some damage out there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It would definitely have to be zone, I think.
But, I mean, that's it. And I think one of the things that Justin Fields didn't have a good game. He didn't look good. Master Teague, I just loved when they said his name just because it's great. I mean, he had a great game, but at the same time, I don't think he's that good as a running back. I think Ohio State is definitely one of the top 4 teams, but I would have them in the probably number 4 if we're looking at the rankings. There's really 2 teams. That's it. I mean, in my eyes, it's Clemson and it's Alabama. Unfortunately, those are the 2 teams that are going to go for it. I don't see Notre Dame. I think Ohio State and Notre Dame are severely overmatched by those 2. I mean, I know everyone's going to say, well, Notre Dame beat Clemson, but Notre Dame beat Clemson without Trevor Lawrence, and I know that's going to be – everyone's going to say, well, wait till the ACC championship and they face each other again. Yeah, wait, and Trevor Lawrence is going to do Trevor Lawrence things. But
I got to be honest with Notre Dame, man. That linebacker dude, Owusu Koromoa, he is good. He is – I probably murdered his name. I'm sorry. When I watch college football, honestly, a lot of times I turn the volume off. Man, he is really, really good. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get taken top 15.
Really?
Yeah, he's fantastic. I'm assuming Parsons is going to go really high. I think we all kind of are. But I'm telling you, dude, this kid, he's a phenomenal cover linebacker. He can shed blocks, which having the 2 of those things is incredible nowadays because it's either one or the other, apparently. And he's going to blow up whatever combine we have. So keep an eye on him, man. He is really good. He's fantastic.
That's good. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on college football-wise is anything and everything that they say about the Big 12 conference is true in regards to defense. Like, if you play defense, don't go to the Big 12. I mean, they're so bad. Like, it is just so bad to watch. And I mean, I was looking at the Oklahoma and Oklahoma State game, and I thought that game was going to be so much more exciting. I mean, one of the best running backs in my eyes, Chuba Hubbard, plays for Oklahoma State. I thought he was going to have a field day. He did not. 44 yards rushing. They just looked bad. I mean, Spencer Rattler, one of the highest touted, basically recruited quarterbacks coming out who plays for Oklahoma. I mean, he had a great game, but I don't know. I don't see it. I just thought it was a mess. I thought it was just miserable to watch, and I just wasn't happy about it.
Another player that people should start keeping an eye on too, not to go back to the linebacker position again, but Tony Fields from West Virginia, he's having a hell of a year.
Really?
He's having a really good year. Yeah. Another one, man, I just seem to I feel like, and we've talked about this 100 times, but I feel like linebackers now you can either stop the run or you can stop the pass, and it's so difficult to find someone that can do both. And the main reason for it, the linebackers that can really defend the pass is they get caught up so easily in the line because they can't shed blocks. So they just get washed out. So that's why when I'm talking about these guys can do both. which is a big deal. Tony Fields right now, he's on a lot of people's kind of watch list. Going into the year, he was right around 150 on most big boards. But something to keep an eye on with him. He's having a fantastic year. He's going to go a lot higher than that.
That's good. And then lastly, I'll talk about the Florida Gators real quick. Not the quarterback that you think is going to be the guy that I'm going to talk about, but the backup for the Florida Gators, Emory Jones. He's going to be something special when Trask leaves this year. He's a dual threat quarterback. They basically use him to run right now, but dude's got a cannon. So if anybody can go back and watch some footage on him, Florida's in good hands. So everyone thought that Florida was going to be screwed when Felipe Franks left, when most everybody that was a Florida Gator fan was excited to ship off Felipe Franks just because of how bad he was. Florida is an unfortunate situation that they lost to Texas A&M. If they beat Texas A&M, they'd be in the conversation for continuing the SEC and then hopefully making it into that 4. It's going to be tough for them to do so right now, especially with the amount of games that are being canceled or postponed because of COVID. So that's one to keep out. And then Pitts, their tight end, is coming back this week, who's supposed to be a first round pick.
He's filthy.
He's filthy. He's ridiculous. His blocking is something that people don't realize. People should take a look at. He just manhandles those linebackers, and he likes to do it. So at the next level, he's going to be absolutely filthy if he goes to the right program. He needs to go to the right pro team that uses and features a tight end. And that's a lost art right now in the NFL. There's a team that does it really well in the Raiders, and there's a team that does it really, really bad in the Buffalo Bills. So
I'm glad you brought that up because, man, I understand it's boring to watch for some people, but blocking is huge in almost every position. People were amazed that Ruggs went first. I wasn't, because he is a much better blocker in the open field than honestly any other receiver that went in the first round. All of them. He was better. Man, there's a reason that Hawkinson went over Fant. You know what I mean? That is a really big deal. I know sometimes it can be boring to watch, I guess. I don't think that, but I guess people feel that way. That is a big deal. That is a big deal. And while we're talking about Florida, you guys got a safety that's interesting. Sean Davis. He's interesting. So I have questions, though, about him.
Go on.
He's all over the field, covers a lot of ground. And maybe it's just me, but why is he this has to just be me, but I feel like I see it a lot. Why does he always go for the interception with one hand?
For the gram?
Why, like, he doesn't use two. It's the weirdest thing. I've never seen that, but like I feel like I've seen it like 3 times. And
for the gram.
Why?
I could say why, but it's going to come off very bad. He's a Miami high school product. Safety. He was probably a wide receiver at a younger age. I could probably look it up. I know the guy because I'm a Florida Gator fan, but he's a U-type player playing for Florida, where everything needs to be flashy and so on and so forth. There's no more dirty work type people and players for the University of Florida right now. There's no one that's going out there.
When did dropping interceptions become flashy?
I don't know, 2 weeks ago when we decided the Buffalo Bills did not go and punch away a ball. It's the same thing. Everyone wants to make an interception. Nobody wants to punch away a ball.
Well, why? He's punching away a ball, and unfortunately he's going for an interception. But he's punching away the ball. So I don't know.
The thing. Players don't do it anymore.
Other than that, he's very good. I like him a lot as a deep safety. I don't want to see him in the box, but I definitely like him as a deep safety. He's another sleeper that a lot of people aren't really talking about, but
yeah, 6-foot guy. So, but interesting week this week. Thanksgiving games on Thursday. 2 weeks from now, I think they start up those Saturday games, so that'll be kind of cool. But that brings us to the end of this week's show. So make sure that you guys follow us on our social handles. So on Twitter and on Instagram at @the_warroom33.
If you're watching on YouTube, set your notifications, hit the little bell, comment, talk to us. Let's chat. I'm very personable. Andy's not, but I'm very personable. So I'll talk to, anybody. Let's chat.
True that. Get off my lawn.
But before we go, Thanksgiving's on Thursday. Can we run down the menus?
I don't even know yet.
Really?
That's the thing. Well, it's different. It's a smaller Thanksgiving. So it's only 4 of us, COVID.
4 here also, so we're good.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
we're good.
I wanted to do the bird, but I'm not because my mother-in-law she wants to do the bird. So go ahead. Knock yourself out. I mean, sides, it's going to be the trash green bean casserole. My wife loves green bean casserole. I'm not a big fan. I feel like you got to do some type of mac and cheese, but there needs to be some type of smoked meat in that mac and cheese, hopefully. But I don't even know. I feel like this is going to be a recap next week when we do the show, but
I'm so let down. All the
food
that we've been talking about. Like, what? How do you not know? Like, this is a big deal. So for me, I lucked out. All right? Because it's your boy's birthday on Thursday, on Thanksgiving. So no. I'm old. But for my present, I get to make whatever the hell I want. So I'm excited.
Nice.
So we're having a Cajun turkey.
I like it.
We're having a Cajun turkey. I'm going to brine it overnight.
Dry rub?
I got some, I'm going to go dry rub. I got some blackened seasoning.
Cancel.
Excited about that. Very, very excited about that. My mashed potatoes, which, as you know, are in my opinion, the greatest.
They look legit.
Yeah, they're absolutely phenomenal. I am going with a mac and cheese with a 4-cheese blend, actually, and that will be going on the grill.
Were you going to put any type of like brisket or meat in it?
I don't know. I don't think my mom or Amanda would like that, so I'm going to say no.
It's your birthday.
It is, but I'm still a great husband / son. We are doing a sweet potato casserole. I am making 2 different types of stuffed bread. Very excited about that.
Okay.
Sauce, peppers, and onions, and the other one I'm still not sure. Right now, I got the stuff for like just a regular stuffed bread with just basically cheese, but I don't think I'm happy with that. So that's probably not going to happen. So I'm going to have to up that up a little bit. And I think I'm going to make wings also.
I like it.
Just because there's football on, so you have to have wings.
What are you going to do? Ooh, there's some wings that I want to try to make. I mean, wings are easy to make, but I have a spicy honey. So I want to try to coat the wings with the spicy honey and then like twice bake them. So bake them with the spicy honey on it and then dry rub them with like an Irish dry rub and see if I can get like that like dry like heat on it. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
It's an Irish dry rub.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. I got to pull it out of the cabinet. But yeah, it's like an Irish dry rub. It's super thick on the wing. It looks like the wing's almost like breaded. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do that. No, for Thanksgiving, you know what I'm probably going to do? Hopefully ask everybody if we can order food just so I can watch football.
Not much to watch, man.
Nah, not much at all. But all right, everybody, we appreciate it. Everyone stay safe. Have a good Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you next week.
Later, everybody.